And I'm Kasani Balachandra. Here are your top stories for tonight.
STEAM education to be integrated to the education system in the country. Imported eggs will be released to the market before the new year. Purchasing of 55,645 metric tons of paddy at the Maha season is complete. The UNFPA praises the President's leadership in approving the national policy on gender equality and women's empowerment. Cabinet approval for the establishment of Sampur solar power plant. Sangeet Nipun Sanat Nandasiri bids adieu to the nation. 6 killed in a shooting at a primary school in the United States. On to those and other stories in detail now. The Ministry of Education has laid plans to introduce the internationally recognized STEAM education methodology to the school education system in the country.
Minister Sushil Premajan, speaking at a media briefing today, said that the program will commence on the 31st of this month in Colombo. STEAM fields are considered a concept which brings in science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics disciplines into the education system. The STEAM concept has been designed to integrate relevant educational disciplines in creating a wide access for teaching. Minister Sushil Premajan said that the concept would bring out innovations and contribute to the economic development of the country while creating competitive industries for high salary employment. The minister said that plans have been made to begin the active oral English program for grade 1 students from the 30th of this month. Minister Sushil Premajan said that 13,800 teachers across the country have been trained for this program. He pointed out the importance in practical assessments instead of examination-based assessments.
Admission of students for grade 1 for the year 2023 commenced today. Speaking at a media briefing in Colombo today, Minister Sushil Premajan said that all students who have applied for grade 1 will be enrolled into schools. Applications to enroll students were called up in the month of July last year. Accordingly, enrolling of students to grade 1 in several schools in various parts of the country began today. Several district ceremonies to admit students into grade 1 were organized today. The Sabragamur provincial ceremony was held at the Ratnapura Hettikanda Primary School with the participation of Governor Tikiri Kobbakaduwa. The Vaunia district ceremony was held at the Iratta Periyakulam Parakum Vidyalaya with the participation of District Secretary P.A. Sarat Chandra.
Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara has instructed the heads of Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited to take legal actions against those who disrupt the activities of the fuel distribution and employees. The trade unions have said that steps were taken to suspend the fuel distribution from this evening. The Petroleum Trade Union Collective launched a satyagraha yesterday expressing their objection over the decision taken by the government to share the authority of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation to import, distribute and sell fuel products among 3 other private companies. The protesters remained at the Kolonava terminal until this afternoon and said that the satyagraha measure was concluded. However, the Trade Union Collective then informed that a trade union action was initiated to refrain from filling the tankers. The bowser drivers took measures to deploy all the bowsers to the Kolonava Gajabapura yard following the suspension of the fuel filling activities. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara in a tweet said that he had instructed the heads of CPC and CPSTL to take necessary disciplinary steps to consider termination of employment and any legal steps necessary against trade union activists or employees that are disrupting the distribution of fuel, the work of other employees, or is acting in violation of the Essential Services Order. Ministry of Finance says close to 55,645 metric tons of paddy have been purchased from the farmers under the paddy purchasing program of the government by yesterday. The government has allocated 10 billion rupees for the purchasing of paddy in this Maha season. More than 7,600 metric tons of paddy harvests have been purchased from Anuradhapura district thus far. Close to 770 million rupees have been allocated for the purchasing purposes. Paddy purchasing through divisional secretaries of the district approved small and medium scale rice mills is also currently underway. Paddy purchasing in Polonnaruwa district was carried out through 20 small and medium scale rice mills under the supervision of the district secretary and the divisional secretaries. District Secretary W.A. Dharmasiri said that around 3,500 metric tons of paddy has been purchased so far. The purchased stocks will be converted into rice and distributed among the low-income families in the district.
Now, the Department of Animal Production and Health says test reports of the imported egg consignment, which is currently in the custody of the Customs, is expected to be received by tomorrow morning. Its Director General, Dr. K.A.C.H.A. Kotalavala, said that measures will be taken to release the relevant consignment from Customs and to proceed with the distribution activities. President of the All Ceylon Poultry Businessmen's Association, Ajit Gunasekara, said that small and medium-scale producers are unable to keep up with the production activities of the imported price of eggs. He said that such businesses are in the verge of distancing from engaging in productions, which would result in a shortage in the future. Minister Nalin Fernando said that the committees appointed over the egg issue had recommended to expedite the measures to import eggs into the country. However, he said that eggs are yet to be released, even though all necessary arrangements have been made in this regard. He said that eggs were imported into the country for the benefit of the people. Meanwhile, a raid was carried out today by the Consumer Affairs Authority officers in search of traders in the Gampaha district who sold eggs over the control price. Steps were taken to release the traders who sold eggs at exorbitant prices on bonds, and cases were filed against them in the Vattala and Mahara courts.
President's Media Division has indicated that the verification of more than 2.2 million welfare applications has been completed. The program initiated on the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe to identify those eligible for welfare benefit payments. The eligibility verification process for welfare allowances pertaining to 3.7 million applications received from 340 divisional secretariat divisions throughout the island is currently underway. As a result, the majority of applications that have been confirmed and finalized are from Mathura district, accounting for 82.1% of all applications. 78.3% were from Ampara district, 74.5% were from Kaladara district, 73.3% were from Gaul district and 71.7% were from Anuradhapura district. As the information survey work is set to conclude on the 31st of March, the government urges applicants to provide accurate data to the officials conducting the survey with utmost urgency.
Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the government intends to make Sri Lanka the region's first green economy. The President made these remarks during a meeting with investors who attended the Sri Lanka Green Energy Summit, which took place at the President's office yesterday. Speaking to investors, he said that a green economic policy will be implemented within the next 2 months.
Firstly, the agreement with IMF has two advantages for us. One, we are restructuring the debt. Secondly, it should unleash the growth potentials of Sri Lanka. Getting on to our growth potential of the areas we've identified, one of the largest areas for growth and in the short term also is renewable energy in all the fields. Whether it be wind energy, whether it be solar, whether it be biomass, whether it be hydro, there's still the potential for renewable energy. In addition to it, the potential for basically the green hydrogen. It's a question of how do we exploit it, what are the investments, and in that it will be a field that is open to private investors, both local and foreign. And in the next 2 months, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Energy and the Climate Change Office will be announcing the new policies on the green economy and on renewables. The potential is big, and Sri Lanka wants to be one of the first in Asia to be in this field because we have to use our natural advantages and certainly renewable energy positively. You all are those who have had the experience of investing in green energy projects. So when you look at Sri Lanka, remember that we will also be linked to South India, looking at the synergies of South India, not only in renewable and energy, but in other forms. We have already discussed Indian Oil of having their pipeline from India straight into Trincomalee. But we also see Trincomalee as a potential port for green hydrogen. That's the closest port to the north, which has the bulk of green hydrogen, renewable energy, wind power in Sri Lanka. So all this means opportunities, all means and development, which means that the Sri Lanka economy expands and at the same time you invest money and you get a good return on your investment. So we will look at how we accelerate the investment procedures and get through quickly. That's basically the strategy of the government.
Senior advisor to the President on climate change, Ruan Wijewardena, says Sri Lanka is ready to mobilize green energy investments in the green energy sector. He made these remarks while delivering the opening speech of the Sri Lanka Clean Energy Summit 2023 held in Colombo yesterday. He said that Sri Lanka is to mobilize green energy investments in the energy sector and invites local and foreign direct investments for that purpose. Meanwhile, advisor to the President on climate change, Eric Solheim, said that it is the vision of President to take Sri Lanka out of the crisis in a green space.
I hope we can exchange views in a frank and forthright manner and learn from each other's experiences in dealing with potential and project-related issues in the renewable energy sector in Sri Lanka. And I'm sure that it will pave the way to create networks and partnerships for clean energy development in Sri Lanka. Today we will be focusing on key areas for the development of Sri Lanka, such as economic environment, how we can facilitate investors in Sri Lanka, and roll up carbon credits in climate change, followed by a networking session. Sri Lanka, being a country with abundant renewable energy potential, is seeking opportunities in transitioning renewables to march towards sustainable development. The transition does not limit reducing fuel imports that are placing a burden on government finances. It enables the creation of jobs, including for women, and rebuilds the economy based on clean and affordable energy. The transition will create multiple gains for the economy, the energy industry, and the environment. Investing in renewable energy is one way for companies to demonstrate their commitment to sustainability and reduce the environmental impact. In this context, the private sector is crucial in developing and deploying renewable energy technologies. The government of Sri Lanka invites local and foreign direct investments to develop renewable energy in Sri Lanka. This summit is expected to pave the way for investors to explore potential for mobilizing green energy investments in Sri Lanka's energy sector. This will also create networks and partnerships with green investments for clean energy. So, this summit is expected to be the opening to accelerate the country's transition to a low-carbon economy and achieve climate commitment collectively.
Sri Lanka, as was said, has a fantastic potential for renewables, for wind power at land and at sea. It's a very shallow shelf between India and Sri Lanka, which is very well suited for offshore wind. There's a good potential for solar. There's many rivers which can bring pumped storage, and it can be a hub for green hydrogen. Far too often people speak as if going green is a cost. It's not. It's an enormous opportunity. Yes, 10 years ago solar energy was very expensive. Now it's the cheapest energy anywhere in the world. The best underpinning of that message is that the two biggest developing countries are now the two leaders of the Green Revolution. And Sri Lanka, with such a good relationship to China, but so close to India, have enormous opportunities to tap into this. But of course, working with Japan, Korea, Europe, America, all who can contribute to the development of Sri Lanka, bring investment, but capture markets for Sri Lanka.
United Nations Population Fund representatives praised President Wickremesinghe's leadership in approving the national policy on gender equality and women's empowerment.
These remarks were shared when President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with a delegation of UNFPA officials at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. Director of the Evaluation Office of the United Nations Population Fund, Marco Sigoni, was also present at this occasion. The United Nations Population Fund congratulated Sri Lanka on its achievements in developing robust national evaluation capacities at the policy, institutional and professional levels. The UNFPA delegation commended President Wickremesinghe's leadership in promoting evaluation, particularly in the public sector, which they said will play a significant role in addressing the challenges faced by Sri Lanka. UNFPA representatives addressing this acknowledged Sri Lanka's significant progress in developing strong national evaluation capabilities compared to other nations. As a result, President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that a bill related to this matter would be presented to Parliament for approval. MP Kabir Hashim was also present on this occasion.
National Thermal Power Corporation of India and Ceylon Electricity Board have entered into an agreement to jointly implement a solar power project in Sampur. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the resolution furnished by Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara to take necessary steps to implement the project.
The solar power project will be implemented under two phases. The first phase of the project will be carried out with a total estimated investment of $42.5 million. The second phase of the project will be carried out under an investment of $72 million. It has been planned to construct two transmission lines.
It has been estimated that a stock of 2.25 million metric tons of coal is required for Lakvijay coal power plant in Norachole for the term 2023 and 2024. Accordingly, the Cabinet granted approval for the resolution furnished by Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara to take necessary steps to implement the relevant procurement process.
Taking into consideration a proposal presented by Minister Bandula Gunawardena, the Cabinet approved the establishment of the proposed fund through an Act of Parliament. In the 2023 budget, the President proposed to establish a fund for road maintenance and to provide an initial allocation of 100 million rupees for the fund.
The Cabinet of Ministers approved the combined proposal presented by Ministers Harin Fernando and Vidura Wickramanayake to prepare a master plan to develop Sigiriya as a sustainable tourist destination with the contribution of all relevant parties.
The State Vesak celebrations 2023 have been planned to be conducted at the Kaballava Sri Ratnasiri Piriven Vihara, Madampe Chilo in the district of Puttalam. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal furnished by Minister Vidura Wickramanayake to declare Vesak Week from May the 2nd to the 8th and to implement various religious and social programs parallel to the celebrations.
Cabinet approval was given for the implementation of a project to provide interest-free loan facilities to students who pursue degree courses in non-state degree awarding recognized institutions. 5 groups of students have benefited under the program, and the students who are eligible for the 6th group have also been identified by now. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Education to continue the interest-free student loan scheme following the existing method and to facilitate 5,000 students in the 7th group under the program. The final rites of the late veteran musician Professor Sanath Nandasiri will be held at the Borella Cemetery on next Saturday at 5 p.m. He was 81 years of age at his demise.
සමරුම් කැටි වුණෙතු සංගලින් මුතු පබුලින් හිමාතලෙමි සිහිවටනය යමුනා තීරේ ආදර සමරුම් කැටි වුණෙතු සංගලින්.
Born on February 15, 1942 in Gutadua, Professor Sanat Nandasiri received his education in many schools, including Gutadua Mahavidyalaya. He then received his higher education in music in India, successfully serving in the capacity of a teacher and a university lecturer in his professional career. Rather late, Professor Sanat Nandasiri created many acclaimed popular songs to the country's music scene, including Mage Ratata Daladahini Saranai, Mamanam Asai Ahananayana, Lassananam Nathinimme and Game Kopi Kade Dinnada Patte. He was a pioneer in solo concerts in the country. He rendered a massive service in the development of the field of music and arts in the country and played a pivotal role in nurturing the classical musicology. The remains of late Sanat Nandasiri will be kept at his residence in number 10 First Lane, Old Caspava Road, Nugegoda from 9 a.m. tomorrow. The remains will be taken to the University of Aesthetic Studies on Saturday at 9 a.m. Subsequently, the remains will be taken to the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation for the public to extend their final respects.
Now, the regional launch of the annual report of Amnesty International was held in Colombo today. The senior director of Amnesty International was present at the regional launch of the annual report of Amnesty International on the state of human rights in the world in 2022. The report had focused on the failure of global and regional institutions to respond adequately to global conflicts, climate change, global energy and food crises. The report has also addressed the economic crisis and the series of incidents that occurred in Sri Lanka.
State Minister Shanta Bandara has been appointed as the acting Minister of Mass Media.
A global calculated
The State Minister has been temporarily elevated to the post as Minister of Mass Media. Bandara Gunawardena has left the country for a visit. Accordingly, the State Minister will function as the acting Minister of Mass Media during this period. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said teaching is the most valuable gift that can be given to children. He made these remarks while speaking at the 51st commemoration of late politician Philip Gunawardena. A special program was organized at Sri Siddhartha Junior College in Homagama in line with the 51st commemoration of late politician Philip Gunawardena, who is a national hero. Upgrading the junior school as a school providing education up to GCE ordinary level and the launching of construction of the new multi-purpose centre were also carried out in line with the program. Siddhartha Junior College was founded in the year 1905 by Don Jacolis Rupasinghe Gunawardena, who was known as Borolugoda Ralahami, the grandfather of the Prime Minister. 17th Speaker of the Parliament and veteran politician Joseph Michael Pereira passed away today. He was 82 years of age at his demise. Electing to the Jayala Urban Council as Urban Councillor in 1970, late Speaker Joseph Michael Pereira entered the Parliament in 1977. He continued to serve in the capacity of Gampaha District Leader for the United National Party. He had assumed many ministerial portfolios including fisheries and Christian religious affairs. Foreign news on the other side of this break. Welcome back, and in foreign news, 3 children and 3 adults have been killed in a shooting by an ex-student at a school in the U.S. city of Nashville, Tennessee. The attack took place at a private Christian 3 pupils who died were all aged 9.
Police said the suspect gained entry by shooting through a door at the school. Now, the suspect has been identified as 28-year-old Audrey Hill. There has been some confusion about the suspect's gender identity, with police initially describing the attacker as a woman and later saying that the suspect identified as transgender. According to foreign media posts, that suspect is a biological woman who on a social media profile used male pronouns. The shooter was armed with 3 guns, including a semi-automatic rifle, and was shot dead by police. Suspect Hill, who had no criminal record, was a former student at the school and believed resentment may have been a motive.
North Korea has revealed small nuclear warheads which it says can be fitted onto short-range missiles. Korean media said that the North has long claimed it has tactical nuclear weapons capable of hitting targets in South Korea. However, until North Korea tests one of the devices, it is impossible to verify whether they are the real deal. Pyongyang has spent the past fortnight firing a barrage of what it says are nuclear-capable weapons while simulating nuclear attacks on Seoul.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න Big match fun prima කොත්තුමි තියනකම්
Now, in sports news, the second one-day international match between Sri Lanka and New Zealand was abandoned today after rain disruptions. The third match of the series will be played on the 31st of March.
And in more sports news, Kegal district team won the men's championship of the National Kabaddi tournament. The tournament was held in Hettipola. The men's finals was held between Kegal and Ampara districts. The women's finals was held between Kegal and Kilinochchi district teams. Kegal district defeated Kilinochchi to secure the championship. The tournament was organized by Sri Lanka Kabaddi Federation. Darshana Randhanu representing Getwin Sports Club won the championship of the Mr. Sri Lanka tournament. Sri Lanka Army's CWA Pushpakumara won the second place. The tournament was organized by Sri Lanka Bodybuilding and Physical Fitness Association. Richmond College Gaul won the annual one-day encounter against Mahinda College Gaul by 28 runs. The match was played at the Gaul International Stadium. Batting first, Richmond College scored 218 runs for their innings. In response, Mahinda College only managed to score 190 runs in 49 overs. Man of the match was Tarinder Nirmal of Richmond College. The pavilion of the NCC Sports Club was declared open following a modernization project with the participation of President of Sri Lanka Cricket, Shami Selva, and its Secretary, Mohan De Silva.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න Big match fun prima කොත්තුමි තියනකම් කොත්තුමි තිය
And that's all the news for today. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.